Okay, while everyone finishes that, I'm going to take the moment now to introduce our next group. We have Shailene Woodley, who plays Triss. Theo James, who plays Four. Our director, Neil Berger. And the author of Divergent and its 2 following books, Veronica Roth. And since you started the last one, here you go again.
Oh, thank you so much.
Hi guys, you get to keep one of those. I'm Mark Walters with BigFanboy.com. Thanks for coming out to Comic-Con. I'm really excited about this film. Neil, I've loved your work. I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about taking on a project like this. You're known for making great movies with modest budgets, but this is obviously a much bigger project. I was wondering if you could talk about maybe some of the pluses and minuses of working on something that is a grander scale, and then if you guys want to talk about what Neil brought to this project that made it special in your own minds.
So now I'm making a modest movie with a great budget, right? That's what I liked about it was Veronica's book, obviously, and obviously for director, what's wonderful is try to create a new world, a world that's set in the future and create all that visually. But really what I liked was that what was at the heart of it was the human element of this young woman's journey, which I felt like, yes, it's based on a young adult story, but I felt like it was a universal story about, where do I belong? Who am I? Who am I loyal to? Am I loyal to my family? Am I loyal to myself? What am I really willing to go out on a limb for? And I liked all those ideas, and I thought that they were in her book and really tightly tied to the action about what happens. And then I felt like it expanded out to something much larger, which was, how do you keep a society together? At the beginning it seems like they figured it out. They've got this 5-faction system, which is kind of a cool idea, and they seem to be living in peace and harmony because of it, and then it all starts to fall apart. And I liked how the character of Triss, how she goes all through that. So, and I like the fear landscapes. I thought they're really, really cool. So,
Shailene, Rama from On Screen. I just want to ask, I love your shows, love your movies, but can you talk a little bit about being the lead role or lead star of such a big scale project, and also how's it like working with Miles again?
Working with Miles again?
Yeah.
That was awesome. Miles is great. Green screen acting is by far way more difficult than human interaction. So that was a big sort of learning lesson on this movie. It was really fun. I've never done a movie of this scale before with themes this big in a world that's completely different or somewhat different than the world we live in today. And so a lot of it was challenging for me, I found, because I had to sort of erase my preconceived notions of what I was used to acting in movies, which is generally reacting off of somebody else, and sort of create a new world and adapt my style of artistry to the style that this movie sort of lent to, which was really exciting. And Neil created Veronica originally created such an amazing world, and then Neil visually brought it to fruition in a way that I could have never imagined it. And so it was really, we're so lucky to sort of be pieces in the puzzle of this new dystopian future.
Shailene, on your left. I imagine in the life of a young actor, all of these sort of big franchise properties may come your way. Your agents may send you out for all of them. Had you gone out for any of the other big young adult literary franchises, and what made Divergent the one you wanted? And have you talked to any of your colleagues who've also headlined these sort of big franchises?
I did audition for Hunger Games back in the day, and Jen Lawrence actually helped me with Divergent because I still have yet to meet her, but I asked her sort of about her experience with Hunger Games and how her life has changed and sort of going from small independent movies to something as big as Hunger Games. And she gave me really beautiful advice, just sort of saying how much she appreciated it and how much it's changed her life for the positive, or in a positive ways, and she really kind of helped me on this journey initially.
I went for Star Wars, the new ones, as Chewbacca's son. It's an integral role, so cross fingers.
This question is partly for Veronica, and in your novel, you're talking about values like bravery, honesty, being intelligence, and stuff like that. And how does that come from your own faith and philosophy? And how do you bring that to life visually? Because it could be something that could be kind of stale in a movie. It's build big ideas like that.
Yeah, I've always thought of Divergent as a kind of indictment of myself because the virtues are selected based on how I would form my personal utopia. You know, if I were arranging a utopia, it would be a world in which everyone holds themselves accountable and is responsible for their actions, and these are the virtues I would choose. And then the process of writing the book was one of seeing that I would just be like a terrible god of a universe. Just don't do it. Don't give me that responsibility. So, as you know, that's kind of where the world and all of those virtues come from, is just from a very personal place. And as for how to translate it visually, I didn't do that, so. Go on.
My turn? Okay. If you were put into a fear landscape, like as you guys, what would be...
Like right now?
Yeah.
This is a fear landscape, actually.
Oh.
Yeah, this is a simulation. You're in our fear landscape.
Oh,
I'm wearing no pants as well.
Yeah, but go on.
Yeah, just like if you as personally, like what would be in your fear landscape?
Lots of bugs, like lots of bugs.
Theo, what are you afraid of?
I
think that
was
was
the
Theo.
question.
Theo.
Hummus, probably, in some kind of way.
Who?
Hummus, you know, you say?
Was that an
Hummus, you
English
say.
thing? What?
Basically, various dips that you put pita bread in. Pita bread. Hummus. Sorry, I said my grandfather's Greek.
Hummus. Hummus.
I'm getting really close to the mic. No, my grandfather's Greek, so he used to say hummus. So that's where I get that from. Anyway, congratulations.
Yeah. Does that answer your question?
Like the fruit.
Shailene, what are you afraid of?
I think, you know, one of Triss's was pretty
I'll
good.
be asking all the questions from now on.
She got pecked by crows. That's pretty terrifying.
Yeah.
I would not like that at all.
My mom picked the crows. Did you know that?
Did she?
I said, spiders or crows? And she said, crows. And
Yeah.
That's how it happened.
I think that's worse than spiders in a
yeah.
way. That's awful.
Way
Ugh.
creepier.
Yeah, no, I'm not into that idea.
Hi, this is for Shailene. You know, in the last panel, they talked about how you'll be giving up a lot of your privacy for the role, and you've addressed it here as well. And there'll be positives, but there's also be negatives being such a high-profile project. What do you think will make it worth it about this role?
I mean, I think that the whole like anonymity thing is a very interesting concept. But I think that if you lead the life that you want to live and you are the person that you want to be, then there's really not a lot to be afraid of, or there's really not a lot of negatives, because I think you can create a life outside of yourself that sort of this industry is able to infiltrate, but then you create a life inside of yourself that nobody really has access to. And so I'm just excited for it. I'm excited for the future. I know, Theo, you're very afraid. You're so fearful of what's to come.
I'm extremely scared, yeah. Every day I wake up very scared. No, I think, you know, you have to, doing a big, you know, it's definitely a question you have to really contemplate, and you have to be sure you're going to do it. But, you know, if you're entering something that already has a fan base and has people invested in it, and it has books that obviously Veronica wrote, and they're great pieces of work, I think as long as you put your everything into it and try and make a movie that you are proud of, then, you know, the rest hopefully will come with it, and people will be as proud of it as we are proud of it, you know, because we finished literally, you know, 2 days ago, so we're kind of very fresh off it, and we feel very proud of it and very excited for people to see in Hall H this piece of footage which you know, Neil and the guys have put together, because, you know, I was saying to Shay before, when you're doing a movie, you know what you've done and you know what your colleagues have done, and you've seen bits and bobs, but really until you see something cut is when it's really gratifying, and you say, oh, okay, now I see it in the context of the world, and you can see that it's going to be a really strong piece of work. Well done.
What?